White Dragon, White Dragon Tai Chi. So the purpose of the White Dragon Tai Chi classes is basically so anybody can have a go at Tai Chi. Anyone can join in, anyone can have a bit of fun with this. It's not about getting a form down pat perfectly. If you want forms, we do that as part of our Red Dragon syllabus, and we will be adding new videos soon. We've got a looping form video out there, which is a very short form that you loop back and forth as many times as you want to make it a full-on exercise for yourself. We will be putting the 10-step up there, the 24-step up there, and the short yang. Short yang will probably be the first one the next one we'll put up. Won't be the first because looping form's the first. Short yang will be the next one, which is the main form that we teach and the main form that we practice. That's certainly the one that the Black Dragons use most. But there are other forms that do other things. So this is not particularly about forms, it's about movement and about the Tai Chi movements, the principles of Tai Chi, and hopefully you can take anything that you've learned from elsewhere and get something from this. This is my take on Tai Chi. This is my understanding as to the level that I've got to. So if anybody has a deeper understanding than me and would like to pass on some knowledge, then please by all means feel free to leave comments. If you've got less knowledge than me, then hopefully you can learn something from me. There is this tendency within the Tai Chi world to get bogged down in the rightness and the wrongness. No, the form should be done this way. No, the form should be done that way. From my own personal experience, my point of view, and it is just my personal point of view, and it is my experience, although there are other teachers out there who would agree with me. Tai Chi is an art. It's something that you learn and then you develop and you make it your own. So if you are trying to make the movements exactly the same way that I do them, then you're missing something. You're missing something for yourself, because you need to find out how this actually works internally for you and externally for you. So it's not just a matter of waving your arms about, it's actually playing with it and finding out, oh, right, okay, so if I turn my waist here, then I bring the hands forward, then I get this kind of feeling through my body, and I can feel it going through my body, but hang on a minute, I'm a bit forward. So what if and you kind of play with each of the movements, making them your own so that they become yours, okay? I suppose if you make them your own, they do become yours, but there is a point to what I'm saying. The other thing is it also depends very much on how you intend to use the form. If you are just using the Tai Chi as a form of movement to sort of expand and open up your body, you want to be opening up the joints, you want to be looking internally, and you want to be feeling the expansion, the contraction of each of the movements as you go through. So you get that kind of fluidness. Otherwise, it's too static and it becomes very robot Tai Chi, and that won't help you in terms of your health. It won't help you in terms of your physicality. So if you're doing it, you need to be really working on just relaxing into it, opening up the internal spaces through the body, feeling how everything sort of like flows and moves. Okay, that is if you are using it just for the health and fitness. If you're using it for martial arts, there is the external side of martial arts, which is very much involved in fighting and self-defense and all of that kind of stuff. Then there's the internal martial arts, which is learning not to fight. And the first enemy is the enemy of yourself, where you learn not to fight yourself, and then you learn not to fight others. Okay. There's a very, very good film we watched yesterday, which is the Ben Kingsley version of Gandhi. I can't remember what the date was, but we watched it again yesterday, and it's really, really good film where he advocates passive non-cooperation. Peaceful non-cooperation, peaceful resistance. Two words that you wouldn't think go hand in hand, but they do. They really, really do. And from a Tai Chi point of view, it's brilliant. You are never, ever... What you're trying to achieve in Tai Chi is not fighting. It's not combat. It's learning how not to fight and allow other people to fight themselves. Yeah, I suppose that's the best way of putting it. Now, with each of the movements, there are applications involved. There are reasons why we do things the way we do them, but there are a myriad of applications. It's not just sort of like bringing your hands up and bringing your hands down. There could be all kinds of things. When I was taught this, the first thing that I was taught, this one, is an escape from someone grabbing your wrists. So what you would do is you would pull them into you, to which takes them off their feet, takes them off balance, and then expand and bring the hands forward. So you create that kind of downward and upwards. It's a gait known as pluck. So you're drawing them in and seizing the feet, basically, pulling them in and throwing them forward. What is interesting about that is that depending on how strong the opponent is, just sort of pushing your palms to the floor and then trying to lift here won't do it. You have to get this kind of like down and up with it. And it only has to be a small movement to there. So that is one possible application of it. Another application would be to keep someone at arm's length. So as they're coming in, you just raise your hands so it guards you in front. It gives them something to think about here, which is not your body here. So therefore the target is further away. So rise and fall has many applications, and it doesn't just have to be done here. It can be done, I believe Sun style do it. They come up to the corner with a step and then there's a push involved. I don't know Sun style, so I can't honestly say. I think that's what they do. The point being is that it's not just here and here. There is a whole series of internal mechanics that go on with it, and it all depends very much on the range of your opponent, where you see your opponent, and what you think you're actually doing with all of this. Okay, when I learned it, it was escaping from someone grabbing your wrist. So you're pulling them in here, throwing them up, and again, if someone grabs your wrist here, you're creating this kind of motion from the waist so that you can move them coming round here and round. So that will create a turning force through their body and make them sort of twist them over. The idea is that you throw them. It's quite interesting trying to explain it without actually having a partner to show you with. But yes, again, if you sort of let your hands go limp and you try and sort of do it from here, it won't work. So it has to come off the foot, round, through and up. So there is this whole kind of circling motion with the body as you do it. So you're coming up round there, and that takes time to develop that kind of like motion through the body, doing all this kind of stuff. There are other styles of Tai Chi which are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that would be the classic U style, which it has a lot of grappling, a lot of Mongolian wrestling involved in it. It smooths itself out later on, so that's a training aid when you begin. You do the full 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then Wu style. There's U style and Wu style. They're spelled the same way in English, but they're pronounced very different. Wu style is one of the 3 main branches of Tai Chi: Yang, Chen, Yang, Wu. And then there's derivatives of that that's going to Li, Sun, and U style. And the U style was a derivative of Yang style, which splits it out and becomes much more mechanical in the beginning and then rounds out. And the reason for that is the mechanics of it are very much more for grappling, wrestling, and throwing, and that kind of movements. Anyhow, so the way you do Tai Chi depends very much on what you're trying to get out of it and the focus that you're putting on each of the movements. Okay, so if you see one person, they're teaching the 10-step form and they do it in a particular way, it's not that they're wrong, it's just that they are different. Okay, and that they are doing things in a particular way, particular fashion. They may not understand what they're doing and why they're doing it in a particular fashion, but the person who taught them or the person who taught the person who taught them did and had a reason for all of that. Okay, you need to be taking it forward and developing your own style. Anyway, that was a very interesting conversation, which has just taken up nearly 15 minutes. So let's get on and do some Tai Chi. We're going to start off with some Qigong first. Let's get the body ready. Tai Chi is Qigong, but not all Qigong is Tai Chi. So Tai Chi has the movements and the internal mechanics as you move in a particular and specific way, depending on the style that you're looking at. So Find your shoulder width, feet together, turn up the toes, turn up the heels, softening the soles of the feet. And we're going to do a body scan coming up through the body. Okay, so you're softening the sole of the feet and working on your base structure first. Foundation's very important. So connecting with the ground, looking at the soles of your feet and seeing where you're tight, tense and rigid. Are you pushing yourself up? Are you moving yourself from side to side, leaning forward, leaning back? You want to have your weight evenly spaced so that the feet can just soften and spread out onto the floor. Let the metatarsals relax and spread out, the toes spread out, expand. Feel the ground beneath the feet. And then just soften the ankles. So allow the ankle joints just to open. Work your way up into the calf muscles. Softening the knee joints. Softening the thighs. And then opening up the hips. Allow the tailbone to drop. Now, when the tailbone drops, it's as though you're sitting on a stool. So you're not allowing the tailbone to drop and pushing your pelvis forward. So it's not here, there like that, so the tailbone can drop. It's there, so that you're sinking into the thighs, keeping the hips level. And then that will open up your lower back. So opening up the lower back now, there is a tendency for the chest to really just hollow and crush, but we don't want that. We need the shoulders to stay over the hips. Now the chest does need to round a little bit and hollow, but you do that by tucking your chin, suspending the head from the crown, and opening up your neck, relaxing your shoulders and relaxing the thoracic spine down. So that then has effect on allowing the muscles in the pectoral muscles, all these muscles in here, and the internal chest cavity to release. So you can now breathe more easily into your chest. That's the idea. And then you're allowing your breathing to slow and become deeper. So now become aware of the diaphragm area all around here. Those big things like liver and stomach and all of that kind of stuff is, and just let that bit just relax. And it's not just on the outside, inside the internal cavity where the diaphragm actually is, below the rib cage. And then just sinking the mind down further. Let the belly relax, the abdomen, all in here. Now you'll hear lots of talk, and you may actually know what it is, the lower dantian. It's an energy center. Now, I was always taught that it's 2-3 finger width below the tummy button and then back inside the body. Okay, that's what I was taught. So I'm taking my mind to a point there. Now, when you connect with it, you'll know. But until you connect with it, it's just, yeah. So you just have to keep your mind, rest your mind down in that part of the body and make sure that you're doing all the other things to breathe, open and close, to work the abdomen and make it nice and pliable and relaxed, released. That way you can start creating the internal space that will allow the dantian to form. So we have those alignments through the body, and the idea of that is you have a good foundation, strong foundation, with relaxed legs. The hips can now open and relax, so you can now start to use the ball joint in here, the quad, the crease, if you like, the bikini line. And then the tailbone is dropped as though you're sitting on a stool. So you're creating a downward sinking energy through the body. But in order to maintain your structure, you've got to create an upward energy through the body by imagining yourself or getting your head to be suspended from the ceiling. So you can imagine a cord connecting to the crown of your head and connected to the ceiling, so that the bones float upright, but the muscles release, expand, and then your energy can sink. So just take a few moments just to breathe, let the mind soften, calm, and sink into the body. I want what you're looking for is any areas of resistance. If you find any areas of resistance or impedance in the muscles, just see if you can get them to expand and melt. If the body is feeling pain, then examine that pain, and can you release it by just moving and letting something relax. If you can't, don't worry about it. Come up in the stance a bit more, make a mental note of it, and then go book in for a massage or chiropractics or something like that. Your body is showing you where you're tight. You need to release. And then all we're going to do is just turn the waist. So if you turn the waist from side to side, there's something weird goes on with the legs. Now, when you first start doing it, there is a tendency to sort of like throw yourself around and let your knees do weird and wonderful things. We don't want to do that. If you are twisting and putting torque down through the knees, you'll create knee problems and it hurts. So we don't do that. As we turn our waist, we are using the quad. So you're closing the hip, opening the hip, sitting down, and then squaring the hips. So what that does is it takes weight down through one leg almost, and then you release back up through that leg, which squares the hips, and then you take the weight down through the other leg, and then you come up. So you get this turning motion happening through the release of the legs. This feels very strange when you first start doing it. And there's all kinds of things go on. But what we're trying to do is trying to make it smooth. And we're doing it slowly to give you the opportunity to feel the motion. Because there's almost like as you come up, there's like a standing up here. So that you're releasing up through into the dantian and then sinking back down again through into the foot. And then releasing up from the foot through, corkscrewing across and down. Now this is a major principle of Tai Chi, this ability to use the waist. So the power comes from the legs. The waist is used to direct and command. The shoulders issue and the arms express. So what we're trying to do is keep ourselves roughly on our center line, moving around our center line, keeping our alignment and transferring our weight from one side to the other. Now, you need to then just relax the shoulders and let that motion, just let the hands swing around. Now the hands are swinging because the waist is turning. We do a lot of this exercise and there's a reason for it. I wonder if you can work out what it is. It's to get this motion through the legs in a released, relaxed fashion. And just feel that motion through your body. How it kind of like comes up, turns, opens, sinks. Turn, open, sink. Turn, open, sink. Awesome. And relax. So that's the rotational motion. There's also an expansion. So with the feet parallel, we're connected to the ground again. So connect with the ground, opening the ankles, open the knees, opening the hips, dropping the tailbone, shoulders resting comfortably over the hips, tucking the chin, suspend the head. And then sinking into your thighs. So you're sitting down as though you're sitting on the stool, which sinks into your thighs. Now that'll work your thighs more, but it saves your knees a lot of grief. You're not sort of like bending and straightening the knees. You're actually using your thighs here. So sinking into the thighs, the palms turn to face the floor. And then we come up. So you're suspended from the head. You come up from the head here and raise up. And at the same time, you expand out and let the arms come up in front of you. Okay. Now, the shoulders need to be relaxed, elbows soft, wrists relaxed. Come up. And then sitting back down again, let your elbows drop and your wrists drop, let the hands float down. So consciously you're coming up. You can do this with an in-breath if you want. And then you can breathe out as you come down. But more importantly, what we're trying to get at the moment is your breathing needs to be relaxed and natural so that you don't put tension into the chest and the diaphragm and the belly. But we're trying to also get this connectivity up from the ground. So pulled up from the top of the head, connecting through the body, let the hands float up. And then dropping the tailbone, sinking back down into the feet. Breathing in. And pay attention to what's going on with the shoulders. Do they feel open or do they feel as though they're contracted and sort of pinched in? That's no good. I'll be open and sink. So we're looking for expansion and contraction. Through release. Okay. Okay, then we're going to change. So we're going to go into the second posture of the 10-step form, which is a movement known as repulse monkey. In the 10-step form, this is done with a shoulder width, this stance, normal stance, shoulder width stance, okay. In other forms, it's done stepping back, okay. But in this one, it's done with the feet parallel and not moving in that respect. But we've got a similar thing going on as to what we were doing when we did our first bit here, coming up, down, up, moving around our center. So you've got a similar thing going on, but in this case, we're sitting down on one leg and letting the hip drop back. At the same time, that side arm, so in this case, it's my right leg. So as I sit down, my right arm is coming up behind me and it's coming up in line, about 90 degrees to the body, thumb up to the shoulder. Then you bend your finger to bring your fingertips to the ear, okay? But before you do that, you come round, thumb, palm up, round, okay? So it's thumb comes up, palm up, round. The other hand also needs to do something, okay? Because otherwise it feels left out and it doesn't like it. So I'm sitting down, and what I'm doing is as I turn, so I'm pivoting, this becomes the door frame, this becomes the door hinge. So this bit moves back, this opens, this closes, and it comes through and up. Okay, so the hand sort of like circles and spirals up around your fourth finger, if you like. Now, the hard bit with all of this is not to do that, leaning in. Okay, so if I'm here, I want to try and keep myself fairly upright as the hand comes round and up. Okay, so it comes round and up, and it ends up roughly in line with the throat, chin-ish. Okay, so feet shoulder width apart, connecting with the ground. Softening up through the legs, tuck in the tailbone, drop the tailbone, shoulders resting over the hips, tuck the chin, suspend the head. And then we're going to sit onto our left leg, letting our right hip drop in. And at the same time, we've got the spiral coming up with the left hand in front, and the right hand comes up leading with the thumb. Then both palms turn palm up at about chin height, throat height. And then as you start to square the hips, your right hand drops in, so you bend the elbow to bring the right fingertips by the ear, and you push up, squaring the hips off your left leg, and then your right hand comes forward and crosses across the left hand as the left hand comes back, and you push out. So we're here, like so. You don't want to be pushing too far. You're not leaning, and you're not trying to reach out and touch, okay? You don't need to. So from here, circling up, fingertips to ear, square the hips, cross the palms, repulse the monkey. And then we repeat the exercise on the other side. So you're sitting down onto your right hip, and again, the hip drops in, left hip drops in as the left hand circles away. Both palms turn palm up at about shoulder, chin height. Bend left elbow to bring fingertips to ear and square the hips to bring the hands round, repulse the monkey. So just have a few goes at that. This feels very strange at first, and there is a tendency to do the swim. Okay, that's not what we're doing. Okay, here, fingertips to ear, square the hips, cross the palms, repulse monkey. So you create this kind of yin-yang motion around the spine using the shoulders. Square, then open. Square. And it's all driven from the legs, commanded by the hips, issued through the shoulders and expressed through the hands. So if you've been doing this a lot and you're used to this now, connect your mind with the dantian, lower dantian, and trying to move around your center. Relaxing the arms and the shoulders. Okay. One more. And then we are going to go into another movement. So the next movement is known as diagonal flying posture or part horse's mane. And the way we get there is you're sinking into your left hip again and bringing the hands round so you end up holding a ball in the center. But we're going to do a step with this, and in order to step forward, you need to get your foot in a position where it becomes comfortable. This is going to be your back leg, so you want your foot 45 degrees to the corner, otherwise it feels very strange. So you're sitting down, and as you do, just turn your foot 45 degrees to the corner, sitting down, and then you can take all your weight onto your left leg and bring up the right foot. Then you're stepping out, placing the foot in front of you, rolling your weight onto it, and then as you open the hips, so you've got this same thing coming up again, releasing up through the hip square there, and at the same time you open up the hands, so you cross the palms over one another, you open up the hands and diagonal fly, so you end up with toe, knee, elbow in line. The other hand comes down by the waist here. And then you're just going to come back, sit back. So circle your left hand up, right hand underneath, stepping up, stepping out again, roll forward, open. And then come back. One more. Okay. Then from there, we're just going to bring our weight back, step up, and don't do anything with the hands at the moment, leave them where they are. So you then transfer your weight onto the right leg, turning the right toe 45 degrees out the corner. And you notice your hands are now in the right position to hold ball over your right leg. Then stepping out, roll the weight forward, square the hips, crossing the palms. Come back, hold ball, step out. And repeating the exercise on the other side, which now feels very strange because you've trained one side. And the body's going, oh, I don't like it. But that's fine. We're just going to play with it. And it doesn't even matter if you get it wrong, because you can continue to practice until you don't. And you'll know when you got it right because it'll feel right. Keeping the legs released and relaxed. That's part of the trick to this. Now we're doing a forward step on this one. If you were actually doing the full 10-step form, you would actually be stepping from one side to the other. But don't worry about that because the principles of the stepping is the same. And then we're going to come back. So circling the hands round again. Place your left foot on the floor. Turn your left toe out to the corner. So you bring your hands around so they come over your left knee. Bring in your right foot. Then you drop away the left hand, bringing it up thumb first in line with the body, keeping the right hand where it is. And then the left elbow bends to bring the left fingertips to ear. Same step, stepping out, rolling the weight forward, but then this time as we square the hips, your right hand brushes right knee and your left hand pushes out in line with the shoulder. Now, you will sit done where the hand comes in line in the chest with a knife edge on. That's fine. If you would rather do it that way, you do it that way. But I do it there because I'm practicing a specific application or specific series of applications that require that. And then you come back, swapping your hands around again, hold ball, come up, step, round. And then come back. Now, the whole thing about this is you try to make these steps and these movements as light and as expansive as possible. When you're first learning, you have lots and lots of concentration and it starts to build the Li in your body. Now, Li is unnecessary force. Unnecessary force? It's actually just force. But from a Tai Chi point of view, it's not the power. It's not where we want it. Okay. From an external point of view, it would be more and really sort of, that's Li, yeah, Fa Li. not quite what we want with the Tai Chi. Tai Chi is Fa Jin, which is far more here. Doesn't look as impressive. It really doesn't. But it's where all the power comes from in Tai Chi. And then we're going to change. So the hands are in the right position. We just come back, stepping up with our right foot, turn our right toe out to corner to hold ball over right knee. Picking up the left foot, drop away the right hand, bringing it up thumb first, stepping out to the left, weight forward, and do the same thing on the other side. And coming back round, step up, round. So this movement is known as brush, knee, and push. It's also known as twist, step, and push. Brush, knee, twist, step. And I'm sure there'll be an esoteric name somewhere, which I haven't learned. I just know it as brush, knee, push. And then we're going to change. So just come up, find your shoulder width again. We're going to move into another movement called wave hands like clouds. So we're going to start off with the right hand up, left hand underneath, both palms facing the floor. Turn out your right toe. So you turn the toe out and turn your waist to the right, sitting down on the right leg, stepping up. Oh, actually, leave the foot where it is for the moment. Yeah, there. Then we turn left palm to the floor, left. We turn left palm to face, right palm to the floor. Cross the fingertips through the tiger's mouth. So the right hand here is open. You have this gap between forefinger and thumb. That's known as the tiger's mouth. So that hand is facing the floor. The other hand is underneath, and you bring your left fingertips through right tiger's mouth. And then we just transfer our weight across on to our left leg. I'm going to bring my right foot so that it's parallel now. Turn the palms, cross through, return. Turn the palms, cross through, sitting down onto my left leg. And it's the sitting down and turning of the waist that brings the hands round. And then as you cross through, it's the uncoiling of the waist, which kind of opens up the move and turns you back round, and then you sit down onto the other side. So you need to be connected to the ground, relaxing the legs, tucking the tailbone, dropping the tailbone, opening the back, suspending the head. Now, there are different variations on wave hands like clouds. The Yang style version that I was taught is here, like that. But you will see other versions where they come through and round like that. So really, it's finding out what it is you want to use it for and do that. For me, this would be blocking and then using this shoulder to plow in order to throw an opponent away. So you would catch the hand, hook it if you like, and turn. So there would be a turning with the hand here. Okay. There we go. Trying to get ourselves connected to the ground again, moving around the spine through the dantian. And play with the postures, because you've got to move around until you start to feel how comfortable or until you start to feel the comfort of the movement. Okay. And the 10-step form, there is actually some stepping that goes on with that, but we're not going to worry about that today. I come round. And we're going to change. So just turn out your right toe so it goes 45 degrees to the corner. Don't forget about this hand. Just because we're doing something on the right hand side doesn't mean to say the other side of the body is forgotten about. It's all like that. Okay, so we've done our cross through. We come round. We're turning the palm out slightly, and this hand still has form and function down by the waist. Okay, so from here, you're turning out, turning the toe. Sitting down on the right leg, bring in your left foot, and then you're going to cross the palms to bring your right hand down to end up by your hip, and the left hand comes up in line with your nose or brow. And if you want to, you can pick up your left knee. And then we can turn to the corner, place the foot on the floor, rolling the weight forward. And again, as you come round, bring up your right foot so you're comfy. Then cross the palms here. So left hand comes up, right hand comes in to the waist. And if you want to, you can pick up the knee at the same time. So this is Golden Rooster, stands on one leg. If you can't get your knee up there, that's fine. Just turn, stepping round, come in, and just allow the knee to come up a little bit so that the foot is not connected to the floor. Come in and up. And again, we're trying to move around our spine and our center. So if all you can do is that, that's fine. Just turn, step, round, and up. Turn, step, round. And then we're going to change it slightly. So same motion, step, come round, but this time bring your other hand up to cross hands. Bringing the other foot, pick up the knee, and open the hand. So the left hand is following the line of the knee, right hand is pointing out to the back. That's interesting. And then toe kick. Now you can kick high if you want, but it doesn't have to be any higher than that. Turn to the corner, step down, come round, cross hands. Bringing the back foot, pick up the knee, open, toe kick, turn. We're going to change. Just step down, give the legs a little shake. So, the next set of movements is known as grass sparrow's tail. So the first posture is ward off here. We've done a motion where we cross our palms and open up across the chest. We've done a motion where we cross fingertips through the tiger's mouth and turn. Ward off is the hand comes up in front here. So it kind of expands up through the body. And the other hand, in traditional yang style, you would be here, okay, pushing out. But the version I was taught, we cross the fingertips across the wrist. So you're coming here and opening up. So there's this kind of opening up on one side and sinking down on the other as the hips square. Okay, and then bring your other hand up so it points at the right left fingertips, turning the palms and circle the hands round. So this is the hand motion at the moment. We come up, round, turning the palms, bringing the hands down as a circle. So they end up middle fingers roughly pointing towards one another in line with the hip. So that would be pang, ward off, come up, lu. roll back. And again, pang, lu. Then the next motion is ji, which is press. So the hands come up here into the center. And then an, open the hands over, drop the elbows, dropping into the hips more. And then just come up from the top of the head, let the hands expand out. And then we sink into whole bull over the right leg. And we do pang, ward off, crossing the right fingertips through across left wrist. Circle the right hand up. Turning the palms, bring them down as we sit down on our right leg. Then square the hips again. Both hands come up, pressing on the back of the left wrist with the right palm. Then the right hand comes over the top, open up, dropping the elbows, sinking into the thighs. Then lift it up from the head. Just let the arms expand out very slightly. And drop into whole ball. Ward off. Roll back. Press. Bring down and push. Whole ball. Ward off. Roll back. Press. Open the hands. And push. Now the trouble with all of these is when you get names like roll back and press and push, there is a tendency to want to go, but don't do that, okay, because you will kill the motion through the body. So it must be done slowly, relaxed, so that you can start to experience the gait, the jin, which you won't get if you keep putting external force into the joints. It just can't happen, okay? And then we're going to change the other side. Come to whole ball. So this time you're crossing left fingertips across right wrist. Circling the left hand up. Roll back. And then come up G, pressing on the right wrist with the left palm. Open the hands, left hand over the top of the right, sitting down. And then raising up. Holding ball. Ward off. And that is unfortunately all we have time for. Thank you very much. See you in the next one. Keep practicing and playing.